Frank Serio. Frank is a husband, a father, and a grandfather, and I'm sure he will say those are his best accomplishments in life. He is a lifelong member of the Thomas Jefferson Club. He's been involved in politics since he was a young kid, a few years ago. He started out on his various careers as a New York City police officer. He was there for several years, and then he left. I guess being a police officer wasn't dangerous enough, so he went deeper into politics. He became district manager of Community Board 18, where I worked, and I was his executive secretary. He was attending law school, and from there he left and he became the commissioner of the Department of Traffic. From there, he went on to be an assemblyman, then a judge, a surrogate court judge. Frank has had many careers in his life, but all of them he has excelled in. And what he has accomplished in his life, I doubt there's very few people in this room that could actually do as many things as he's done. He's also been the chairman of Community Board 18, and I think he holds the record in New York City for being a district manager and chairman of a community board. He was also involved in the startup of the Canarsie and Flatlands ambulance service. He started block associations, civics. He belongs to various charities. There isn't anything that Frank can't accomplish. If he told me tomorrow he was running for president of the United States, I definitely would believe it. He is truly a man of all seasons, and on a personal note, Frank has never changed in all the years that I have known him. He hasn't become arrogant or pompous. He's just Frank from Canarsie. And when he's your friend, he is the most loyal person that I know. He is honest, he's genuine, and he's very generous. So tonight I truly am privileged to acknowledge publicly that Frank Serio, you're getting an award.
Well, you know, you can interpret all this to mean that I really can't keep a job. First of all, I want to tell you how my relationship with this club goes back probably about 40 some odd years. I've been in politics since I was about 16 years old, so go way, way back in the early days when literally Leo Zamperetti was the congressman there. We had a Democrat representing us in this community. And for many, many other days. And I remember when Joe first became the leader, which is, it's got to be 30 years now, or 20. Yeah, a long time. And of course, I'm up for parole next year. Of course, he had Mary Rose as his partner. And Mary Rose decided to retire. And guess who he got? My secretary. Now, if Joe would have talked to me about Betty before he selected her as his co-leader, she might not be here today. Because I just learned, I remember she said that she was my executive secretary. Well, the truth of the matter is, she was like the boss. I was good. I learned a long time ago. You just say yes to women. You do what you want afterward, just say yes. It's just the easier way to do things. But, you know, this is, we call our club the Regular Democratic Club. And we're really special. Because what we represent is the people of Brooklyn. We, as organizations,
are the all-inclusive people who make sure that every group, every generation, every part of the borough becomes a player in their role in life in terms of how the political system exists. And this club is no different. I look around today and I see many of our Asian friends here, and I am thrilled. I am so happy that you are in the largest growing community in Brooklyn, is the Asian community. We look forward to having you as a part of this process. We have always been about immigrants, the Democratic Party. From the earliest days until today. From when the Irish got off from the potato famine till today, when the whole absolutely myriad of people, this great mosaic that's known as Brooklyn. I even include the hipsters in that, because my satisfaction, let me just tell you, my satisfaction about the hipsters is all those families who moved out to Long Island and East Cupcake and all those places, our revenge is their kids are moving back here in Brooklyn. See them around all around us. So we continue that mosaic. We move generationally. We go forward to ensure that when we are going to speak to the people of Brooklyn, it's for all the people, for all of the groups that make up our home. That's such a great place to live in. Now, you know, there's a very big difference between southern Brooklyn and northern Brooklyn. The fact is that we are the average people. Up there, they have a lot of money up there in those neighborhoods. You got to see what's going on in Williamsburg and all that. But you walk around. I'll never forget, my wife and I were in a restaurant, and I was sitting there in this very fancy place, looking out the window at this wonderful luncheonette that serves the best food in the world. Italian food, of course. And by the way, if you haven't eaten good Chinese food in your life, you've not really experienced great food. I remember, not to throw names out, I remember going with Ed Koch to Chinatown around 1981, and with Tony Genovese at the time and John Cicero, and we ate some of the most wonderful food in the whole world. And I remember going to Chinese New Year parties in Chinatown, as it was known then. And I remember saying to my friend, what am I eating? He says, don't ask, just try it. It was really great, by the way. And it didn't even have Parmesan on it. And anyway, we were at this one restaurant that time, and they're serving me these little petite little things. Some guy comes along with some things, it's a pumpkin something in this little cup. And as I lift it up, I'm looking out the window watching a guy eating a veal cutlet Parmesan here at the other store across the street. And of course, I told my wife, you gotta excuse me a minute, I gotta go outside. And I came back full. I gotta tell you a quick story, by the way. And this is very important. Now, Vinny's over here. Now, this is really very important. If you noticed, I got in here very early tonight. And this is the reason. Because there was a time when this priest in this neighborhood, right in this very neighborhood, was going to be honored for his 25th anniversary. And this state senator, this Republican, I think he might have been, Republican state senator, was one of the parishioners of the church. And he was going to be at the dinner. And the dinner began and started, and it might very well have been held here at the time. And they were waiting for him to show up, and finally said, we got to get the program started. And they started the program. And speaker after speaker got up and spoke about the 25th anniversary of this particular priest that's celebrating it. And they're still waiting for the state senator, and his staff was there, and they're telling him he'll be here any minute. But yes, finally the priest got up, and he had to make history. And he stood up and he said, you know, I'm thrilled to be here for 25 years. It's been a wonderful experience. But I have to say, I wasn't so pleased when I first came here. It's the first day that I came here, I heard confessions. And this man walked in, and he started telling me how he lied, and he cheated, and he stole from his partner, and he was doing all kinds of terrible things. And I said to myself, wow, I said, what kind of parishioners do we have here? What is this all about? I can't believe it. And of course, as time passed, I met other people, I heard other confessions, and I realized that this was maybe a unique situation, and it may have just been a one-time thing. And just as the priest finishes his speech, and everyone started applauding, in walked the state senator. And he got right up to the microphone and he says, Father, I'm so sorry I'm late. It's been a very tough schedule. I had many other stops. But I had to be here today because I was the first person to go to confession. Oh, didn't make sure you're on time. I want to congratulate my fellow honorees today. Each of them has contributed something very special. Dr. Berry, I want to tell you, I am so happy you use GE equipment. I have about 10,000 shares of GE. Very important to buy that equipment. Good for us. And of course, Ms. Dresden, I know that you are part of the UFT. You should know I'm very prejudiced to teachers. My wife, my daughters, my sister-in-laws, even my dog is a member of the UFT. And they're all female. I don't even get a choice. I always know to be suspicious when I walk in the house and I see the toilet seat up. But we're very, it's a great group of people. They too often, the UFT is too often, and teachers in particular, are not given the credit for the Herculean job that they have. Figure it out. We have the same teachers teaching in the same schools, doing the same job, and suddenly they're no good. There's something wrong with the equation when we have a mayor who doesn't appreciate the quality of the people we have. And Mr. Gordon, I'm not sure that we've met yet, but I'm looking to do that tonight. I hope before I leave here we have a chance to talk with each other. I see that you've been a community activist yourself. In reading your biography, I remember that story of that time when that young man was beat up and there was no action taken. I was a police officer for 23 years, by the way. And I was a community affairs officer here in Brooklyn, right in Brooklyn South. And so I think I was working at that time when this occurred. So we thank you and applaud you and welcome you to work together with the communities around us to make this a better way to live our lives. And I guess finally, I have to say, I want to congratulate Pam Bryan. Smartest woman I've ever met in my whole life. She hired Dominic. That was, you could not have made a better move doing that. I want to congratulate you again, Dominic, as well. And finally, since I got the chance to be the longest speaker, I want to say that we are blessed by the kind of leadership we have here in the Stars and Stripes Democratic Party. This is a tough area to be elected official, because you don't just have, most of the rest of Brooklyn, when you run as a Democrat, you're elected and you can go to sleep from the day of the primary until the day after the general election. In this area, you got to fight for everything you want. You have to fight for the council seat, fight for the Senate seat, and fight for the congressional seat. We're going to win that congressional seat back next year. We're going to have all of you and 1,000 other members of Brooklyn working in that campaign. And just remember, Staten Island is really Brooklyn South. Most of the people that live there came from here. So we're going to remind them where they come from and elect the guy who's going to make the difference for all of us. Thank you, Benny. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, but best of all, my friend Peter, who I know now for over 30-some-odd years, and has been not only a friend, but one of the great assembly members of our